involve Ryan Tannehill, Derrick Henry, or even Mike Vrabel.
The humanity.
We hope that Will Levis is their franchise quarterback, but this season is going to be just figuring out if that is the case or not. It feels like that AFC Championship run in 2019 was ages ago at this point. But the Titans had a good stretch of making the playoffs for 3 straight years, but it's missed the last 2, and now Vrabel's gone. The Titans hired Brian
Do you realize how stupid they have been bad recently, and now they fired their coach? Yeah! Think about what you just said. We've been bad.
Callahan to be their next head coach. The son of Bill Callahan, longtime NFL coach, was the head coach of the Raiders at one point. Brian was the Bengals offensive coordinator for 5 years and was the quarterback's coach for the Raiders and Lions before that. Now he's tasked with trying to develop Will Levis and trying to really figure out the question that we are all wondering. Are the Titans any good? Well, that answer is going to have to start with the offense, specifically Will Levis. Will Levis was a guy who was expected to be one of the top quarterbacks off the board in the 2023 draft, but he wasn't. He ended up falling all the way out of the first round, and the Titans traded up to the 33rd pick to take him. Tannehill,
he fell out of the first round by 2 picks. Like, they're acting like he fell to the 4th round. It's like, literally, he fell 2 picks out of the first round. Everybody knew that there was going to be...
went into the season as the starter, but after an ankle injury, Levis took over. He showed a ton of talent when he was at Kentucky. I mean, he had some of those same flashes as a rookie. He finished the season playing in 9 games. He had 1,800 yards, 8 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Now, the jury is still out on...
And the worst offensive line in football.
On Levis, I really don't even know what I think of him at this point. But if he does just completely suck or get hurt, the Titans do have a pretty good backup plan, which is Mason Rudolph. He was drafted in the 3rd round by
I do think Mason Rudolph is a good backup quarterback, but like...
a long time ago, got a chance to start pretty early in his NFL career, and he wasn't too great. Now he can kind of help Levis navigate through something that he's already been through. Obviously, the one biggest thing when it comes to just making sure Levis can be good is the pieces around him. It really helps that DeAndre Hopkins is back with some familiarity with each other now. We all know how good D-Hop has been in his career, even if he isn't the same beast he was at another point.
About how good
he was incredible in Houston, obviously. When healthy, he was really good in Arizona, too. And then after being released after the 2022 season, Hopkins signed a 2-year deal worth $26 million with the Titans. Tennessee's usually were
probably should note that he played... I'm sorry, guys. Probably should note that he played well with the Titans. Like, we're just going to gloss over the fact that he actually was a bona fide, like, good addition to the wide receiver group.
Washed up receivers go to die. Randy Moss, Andre Johnson, Julio Jones. Going into last season, it was kind of the worry that D-Hop was going to be the next name added to that list, but he played surprisingly well, at least for a 31-year-old.
Surprisingly well.
It's DeAndre he finished the year with 1,000 yards, 7 touchdowns on 75 receptions. Now he should have a solid wide receiver 2 next to him, Calvin Ridley. In 2020,
wide receiver 2? Excuse me?
Ridley had the best year of his career. He had 90 receptions, 1,400 yards, and 9 touchdowns. And unfortunately, that's been his peak. The next season, he stepped away from football for mental health matters. In 2022, he was suspended for betting on the NFL. And then the Jags actually sent a 6th and 4th round pick to Atlanta for Ridley. The NFL reinstated him, and people had some really, really high expectations for him and Trevor Lawrence last season. I think they were very high. It was a little unfair, and they didn't live up to it. Ridley was still good. He had 1,000 yards, 8 touchdowns on 76 receptions. He played well, but not really to the tune that we had all kind of hoped or expected. Now he's in Tennessee on a $96 million deal over 4 years, which I think is pretty generous.
Which is, now that other wide receivers are getting their deals, it's like people are like, oh, he's in the top 5 highest paid wide receivers. You're going to see that drop as the more wide receivers get paid.
The Titans did also sign Tyler Boyd this offseason. For the last 8 years, he's really been just the most consistent piece on the Bengals receiving core. Over the last 4 years, he's been about a 700 to 800 yard receiver each year. It is clear that he's starting to decline a little bit, but he should be a good wide receiver 3, which is
based on what? The fact that he went to the Titans You ever notice it's always the players that go to the Titans, and then the narrative becomes, well, he's winding it down. It's like, God, give me a break.
I think he's going to end up. Also, if it helps, Treylon Burks is still there. He was the guy Tennessee got with the first-round pick after trading away A.J. Brown. Burks just hasn't lived up to the hype. In 2 years, he's only played in 22 games. He has 49 receptions, 700 yards, and 1 touchdown. Then at tight end, Chig Okonkwo is entering his 3rd season. Over the last 2 years, Okonkwo has caught 86 passes for almost 1,000 yards and 4 touchdowns. Other than Ridley, the really big signing this offseason for the offense was Tony Pollard. He got a solid 3-year, $24 million contract after the pretty big loss of Derrick Henry, who's now with the Ravens. In Pollard's first 4 years...
Pretty big loss of Derrick Henry, the guy that y'all have been calling washed for the last 2 years, until we got rid of him, and now... he's one of the greatest.
The league, he showed a lot of talent, but he was just stuck behind Ezekiel Elliott. Then in 2022, with Zeke still there, he ran for over 1,000 yards, he had 9 touchdowns, and after the season, Zeke left. Pollard got his chance to show that he could be the guy, get really unleashed, and we all thought he could be really good. And he didn't necessarily do that. Statistically, he declined from the year before. He had 1,000 yards again, 6 touchdowns, and that came on 60 more carries than he had the year before. Now, by no means was he bad, but he was underwhelming. He'll probably be the starter now in Tennessee.
No, he won't! No, he won't!
Titans do also have Tyjae Spears, who had 450 yards as a rookie last year.
If he is whoever starts from game to game, they're going to be rotating in and out like crazy. This guy doesn't know what he's talking about.
Then there's the offensive line that the Titans have very clearly tried to improve. For the past 2 years, J.C. Latham started at offensive tackle for Alabama. This past season, he was first-team All-SEC, and with the 7th pick in the draft, the Titans took him. It's actually the 2nd straight year the Titans have drafted an O-lineman in the 1st round. Last year, they took Northwestern guard Peter Skoronski 11th. He started in 14 games last season. The Titans did sign Lloyd Cushenberry this offseason to help in the trenches. He's just been a solid center. He's one of the most experienced guys on the Titans line, even though he's only going into his 5th year in the league. Then on the right side of the line, Tennessee's bringing back their starting right guard and right tackle from last year, Daniel Brunskill and Dylan Radins.
We don't even know. How they're bringing, first of all, Dylan Radins. And can you please at least try to know how to pronounce the names of the players on the team? Dylan Radins. Who the heck is Dylan Radins? Dylan Radins, I don't know how you could say they're bringing back their starting right guard and right tackle. I think we rotated everybody in the state of Tennessee in at right guard and right tackle last year. Daniel Brunskill is currently not even on the team. Correct me if I'm wrong. He's not even on the roster. I don't believe. I don't know. He may be. I don't know. Either way, why would you speak with such confidence on something that you clearly...
Overall, the Titans offense is pretty bad. Probably a bottom 5 unit in the league, and it's...
How... You put that exact same lineup on the Dallas Cowboys right now, and people would be foaming at the mouth. You give the Indianapolis Colts the exact same offseason that they just described for the Titans offense, and people would be emotional. They would be crying tears of joy.
The exact same case with their defense. The big move for the Titans defense this offseason was L'Jarius Sneed. He got traded from the Chiefs for a 3rd round pick and got a 4-year, $76.4 million deal. He's been a great corner as of late. He should really, really help the defense, but it's still just not a great unit. Opposite
Sneed. Oh, okay. I was just waiting on the butt. I mean, literally, this is a good signing. This guy's a great player. He's really going to help out this defense, but it's still not good. When all else fails, just fall back on that. When all else fails, it's still not good. Hey, the Titans signed Joe Montana. He'll probably help out, but it's still not good. Because
is going to be probably Chidobe Awuzie. He actually lost his starting job with the Bengals last year. He did eventually get it back, but only because of injuries. And the safeties are going to be some familiar faces. Amani Hooker going into year 6 in Tennessee, and Elijah Molden going into year 4. The linebacker core has Harold Landry and Jack Gibbons returning, who have both only played for the Titans in their career. Arden Keyes coming back after spending last season in Tennessee. So the only new starter at linebacker is really just going to be Kenneth Murray Jr. He's been in LA with the Chargers for the past 4 seasons on his rookie deal, and he was actually a 2020 first rounder. The Titans also signed Sebastian Joseph Day, who played with Murray on the Chargers, and he was last on the Niners at the end of last season. Then the big name returner on maybe the entire defense is Jeffrey Simmons, 2019 first round pick. He has 21.5 sacks over the last 3 seasons. He's been really good. And now there's a new guy that we think could really turn into something special. And really the most interesting player I'm excited to watch in Tennessee this year is definitely T'Vondre Sweat. He was just taken in the second round, and he was fantastic. He was a game breaker at Texas. He was the Big 12 player of the year last season, an All-American. Sweat's one of those pieces like Levis or Ridley that the Titans just really need to perform well if they're going to have a decent season. I do think the Titans finished last in the AFC South. I'm just not overly excited about this team, even if Will Levis is good. I think the season's going to just go fine at best. I think the Texans have really taken over. They're the clear front runner of the division, but I even like the Jags and the Colts to just be better.
I'm going to throw these headphones from here to Saskatchewan. Do a video about the Jags and the Colts and tell me why you think they're going to be so good. What did the Jags do last year that has you so excited? Is it replacing Calvin Ridley with Gabriel Davis? What did they do that has you just so foaming at the mouth excited to see how they're going to do this season? Was it blowing a 8-3 record to ultimately go 9-8 and miss the playoffs? Who beat them in that last game of the season to pretty much eliminate their playoff hopes? Oh, the team that you're sitting here saying is not going to be any good, and the team that really did have one of the worst offensive lines I've ever seen. We were just putting guys out there to try to field a team at the end of the year and still beat Jacksonville. We're still trying to die on that Trevor Lawrence field. Right, we're still trying to die on the Trevor Lawrence field, even though he looks like the chick from Glee. We're still trying to die on that hill, and we're still saying he deserves all this money when, I mean, the guy I thought, for the most part, stunk last year. And then the Colts. I'm going to try, oh my gosh, check my blood pressure, somebody. Anthony Richardson's played in 3 games, and for some reason we're just pretending he's a proven commodity. But then we look at Will Levis, who at best, or at worst, has shown the exact same thing that we've seen from Anthony Richardson. He has shown the exact same, like pretty much the same film behind a worse offensive line with a worse roster last year, and we're acting like it's unheard of that Will Levis could possibly be good. But then with Anthony Richardson, it's like, oh, of course he's going to be good. Of course he's going to be good. Oh, he had that one game he played in. You know, he's thrown the ball a few times in an NFL game. He's going to be great.
Than the Titans for now. I have Tennessee going 5-12, going 2-4 in the division, splitting with the Colts and splitting with the Texans, winning that really late Week 18 game. It just
go back. What did he say?
Splitting with the Colts and splitting with the Texans, winning that really late Week 18 game.
The Colts are going to be so great that they're going to lose to the 5-12 Titans. The Texans are going to be so great. They're going to be so awesome that they're going to lose to this 5-12 team that you don't think is going to be any good. Why don't you just
it just isn't a very exciting team, unfortunately. I don't expect.
What more do they have to do? What more do they have to do to be exciting to you? What more do they have to do? Bring Brady out of retirement? Bring Brady out of retirement. Bring Derrick Henry back, even though that didn't excite you for the last few years. But now he's gone, and for some reason, that's made him less exciting. Even though with him, we were just running the ball up the middle 18 million times a game. What do we have to do? Bring back Jerry Rice? You want us to go get Terrell Owens and trot him out there? Like, what do we got to do to excite you, buddy? I mean, do you realize the oxymoron that is, well, the Titans just aren't exciting because they got rid of Mike Vrabel. That's like saying, man, my toilet stinks because there's poop in it. I don't know. It's like, you mean to tell me we're less exciting because we got rid of Vrabel? That made us less exciting? It's like watching paint dry and being like, oh man, when this thing dries, it's just not going to be as exciting. I mean, the video's not even over. I still need to.
Too much from them, but I am really excited to just see what Lil Levis can do, what he can
Lil
become.
Levis, was he a rapper? Lil Levis?
I'm pretty low on Tennessee. I had them winning 5 or 6 games in my predictions before I kind of landed on 5. But Darren's even lower on him. He has the Titans going 4-13, which I can definitely see. He hasn't getting swept by all 3 division opponents. Luckily, they have some easier matches.
How do you go 5-11? Did he say 5-11? There's 5-12.
Matchups this year. They play Chicago, New England, Washington, who obviously just had the top 3 picks. Even throw in the Vikings in there, who we don't expect to be too good. It's just very hard to be optimistic about this Titans team. I hate to say it, but I think it's going to be a long season. I hope Will Levis is good, but even if he is, I don't think this team is set up to win very soon.
What more do you want them to do? What more would you have them do? They got the top wide receiver available in free agency. My head's gonna explode. They got the top wide receiver free agency. They drafted 800 pounds worth of men in their first 2 picks. They brought in. They traded for one of the best corners in football. They brought in a quality center, brought in a good running back to pair with the running back that they already have, which is good too. Brought back DeAndre Hopkins, who was really good last year on a team that didn't want to pass the ball because they were too afraid to, and couldn't because the offensive line was so bad. Like, what more do you want them to do? What more do you want them to do? What would they have to do to be exciting to you? Be the Ravens? You want them to start wearing purple and go, ha, ha, so that they can be the Ravens flock? Would that make you feel better about them? Titan Kong, you can't come in here requesting stuff like this. This